race fans, and welcome to another edition of Inside Kart. I'm your host, Chris Miles, and we're here in the capital of motor racing, Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City. Now, the Motor City lays claim to quite a few American icons, the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis, and Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary. But nothing more famous than the Detroit Red Wings, who celebrated the 1997 NHL Championship. We're here in Hart Plaza, where over 500,000 fans showed up, but we're here for the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. So coming up on Inside Kart, we're going to have highlights from the Detroit Grand Prix, a driver profile on Christian Fittipaldi, and one cool pit team. So stick around, because you're watching Inside Kart on Fox Sportsnet.
Inside Kart is brought to you by American Honda, proud sponsor of the 1998 FedEx Championship Series, by Microsoft, powered by Microsoft Windows CE, and by Shell, moving at the speed of light.
Listen, Charlie, there's no way that my client is going to go for something like this. And what is with this paragraph? Listen, Charlie, you're killing me here. You've been through this a million times, Charlie. Yeah.
The Civic sedan from Honda.
No.
What more do you need?
Charlie, I gotta go. Somebody's here.
Hi, I'm Mark Blundell. You're watching Inside Kart on Fox Sportsnet. And where are we? What school?
Thank you, Mr. Blundell, and welcome back to Inside Kart. This week during the ITT Automotive Grand Prix, we had some exciting action. And just as the lions behind us spitting out some water, well, we had some lions on the track who were spitting out fire. And Chris McClure, you were able to tell us a little bit about it.
Well, those lions helped solve one of the mysteries of the universe, and that is, how do you take the time on a lap on a course and go up with it and increase the speed? The solution, add a straightaway.
Well, we're going straight to the highlights.
The circuit on Belle Isle was a quarter-mile longer than in previous years, with a new 180-mile-an-hour straight. That helped Greg Moore win pole with the fastest Detroit lap ever. It helped Alex Zanardi turn in the fastest race in the history of the event by nearly 14 miles an hour. The early going belonged to Moore, with Zanardi a close second and Adrian Fernandez comfortable in third. That reflected their starting positions. From the start, Richie Hearn suffered most, falling from 4th to 6th as Brian Herta and Tony Kanaan both slid by. The start of a tough day for Hearn. Further back, Gilles de Ferran was launching an assault from 9th that would lead him to the podium. On the point, a wiggle for Greg Moore in the casino complex suggested potential trouble, though he did hold the point through the 22 laps that started the race, handling heavy pressure from Zanardi. On lap 22, when Moore elected to jump out of line for his opening pit stop, he had seen the lead for the last time in the race. 5 laps later, the first round of stops had been concluded, and Alex Zanardi's crew had kept him on the front once again with a brilliant effort in the service lane. It was all he needed. Neither Mr. Zanardi nor his crew made any errors the entire day. None while dealing with traffic. None through the second round of pit stops. None in the closing laps. In the second round of pit stops, Greg Moore's fate was sealed. A long stop that forced him further from the lead. He would finish 5th. After that, most other issues were also solved. Adrian Fernandez ran second, but had the lap car of Andre Ribeiro between him and Zanardi. He never got a clean look at the leader the rest of the way. Gilles de Fern, who by then had climbed to third, partly in the pits, had a look or two at Fernandez during the closing 60 miles, but no real opportunity to get alongside, much less pass. Just 2 yellow flags were required in Detroit, both minor incidents. Christian Fittipaldi, running in the top 10, touched with Franchitti and turned his equipment sideways, playing momentary chicane before continuing. Richie Hearn's turbo was short of the mark, and the kart safety crew had to retrieve that car. Just one bang of significance, Mark Blundell. His suspension was broken, but the car was able to get to the pits and no yellow was necessary. Now, just after the checker, unable to contain himself and with encouragement from his crew, Zanardi brought tradition out of the closet. Not since Elkhart Lake last year had he cut donuts until now, emphasizing the joy of once again conquering the best racing has to offer.
Maybe from the outside it looked easy, but it wasn't. It's a very difficult course. You're dealing with walls, marbles, out of the groove. It was very tricky to drive today.
It was his third victory this year, career number 11. Fernandez's podium was his third this year, best since Motegi, while DeFerrin's second podium of the season was his third place. Paul Tracy shared individual advancement honors with Scott Pruitt. They both finished 8 places better than their grid spot. At the top of the championship, Zanardi's lead grew from 6 to 17 points over Greg Moore. Jimmy Vasser remains third. Fernandez closed significant ground, and so did DeFerrin.
Each week, Bill Adam gives us some interesting tech tips on our champ cars and how our stars wore out on the racetrack. And Bill, we actually had a little Star Wars of our own, a little robot called R2-D2.
Yeah, we did indeed. Like the manufacturers, the teams are looking for any possible advantage they can have to gain a winning edge. And this week, we're going to show you something that you would never think is any sort of a problem at all. When you get into your street car to start it up, it's not really something you have to think about. You just put the key in ignition, start it up, and you drive away. But for a racing engine, well, that requires a very special treatment, and you have to take a lot of extra care. These engines are built with a lot of different materials which expand and contract at different rates. In fact, some of them, like the Mercedes-Benz engine, are built with no gaskets at all. Little pieces of material that normally take up some of that expansion. So it requires a lot of special treatment. Now, one of the things that makes it critical is that they have to have these engines up to temperature before they even try starting them. And this is where an interesting little machine comes into play. This was developed by Mercedes-Benz. They affectionately call it R2-D2, just like the little Star Wars character. And what R2 does is to get filled up with water the day before the crew leaves. They go to bed at night, and this little guy does his work early in the morning hours, heating up water to about 180 degrees temperature. When the crew arrive the next morning at the track, the water is hot, and then, with this plumbing, it's put through the block, bringing the engine up to somewhere between 140 and 160 degrees temperature. At that point, it's safe to fire up the motor. The parts that were cold have warmed up, allowing critical clearance, and then they can start the car and run it safely. Now, what does all this do? Well, number one, it's going to keep that engine running cleanly and safely for a long time. And in fact, it's maybe just like you and me. You have your morning coffee and you feel better about the day already.
Stick around, race fans, because coming up, Newman Haas driver Christian Fittipaldi. You're watching Inside Kart on Fox Sportsnet.
If today I lose my motivation, I'm going to stop racing the same day.
What if nothing stood between you and where you needed to go? It's like that at Shell, where it's easy to pay, pump, and go. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
For the most complete coverage of kart racing as well as Indy Lights and Atlantics, plus all major racing series worldwide, you need to read On Track, the auto racing magazine of record. To subscribe, call 1-800-927-2363. That's 1-800-927-2363.
Welcome back to Inside Kart. Now, as you can see here on Belle Isle, we have a midway-style atmosphere, and just as these fans get to enjoy their favorite drivers like Andretti and Unser, there's also a famous Brazilian clan that a lot of people enjoy, and that's the Fittipaldis. And this week's driver profile features Christian.
Entering his fourth kart season, his third with Newman Haas Racing, Christian Fittipaldi looks to carry on a strong family tradition. His father, Wilson, was a world-class driver, and of course his uncle is the legendary Emerson Fittipaldi. Though not pushed into racing, his parents were supportive, but they asked one thing of Christian.
The only thing that both of them made sure is that, Christian, if you're going to do it, try to do it like really professional and as good as possible. If you're not going to take that attitude, then you might as well stay home, because it's a lot safer staying home, and you can definitely enjoy a lot of other things. So they really made sure that if I did it, I had to do it like really seriously.
Uncle Emerson proved to be a pioneer for Brazilian drivers.
Well, I think that he opened a great opportunity for all the other drivers that came right after him, and he set an example also, which definitely that was very important for us.
And while having an uncle named Emo created a certain amount of pressure, Christian deals with it much better now.
Emerson is Emerson. He's a great person, and I am myself, and I try to do my job the best way as possible.
After a fifth-place finish in the PPG Cup in '96, Christian missed much of the '97 season after being injured in the second race of the year in Australia. While still recovering from the broken leg he sustained, Christian returned after missing only 7 events with a fourth-place finish at Portland.
I learned a lot from that. Like, I had a bad experience, and I saw how much it takes for you to fix a part of your body and be 100% again. It's not a matter of like 65 days, 70 days, and you're back on it. Like, I pretty much stayed with my leg aching for the last like 5 or 6 months, and still nowadays I can feel it sometimes.
Part of dealing with the pressure of being a member of Brazil's first family of racing is enjoying life away from motorsports, but not far away from speed.
I really like to do a lot of action sports and a lot of sports that I would say have any kind of vehicle related to, like, or if it's in a go-kart or if it's in a dirt bike. Like when I go back to Brazil, I love going to the farm and riding the dirt bike all the time. We raise cattle also, and I enjoy it a lot.
And back this year is Christian's trademark yellow helmet.
But it's something that I have worn my whole life. Like ever since I started racing go-karts, my paint scheme has been that yellow helmet, like with the drops. So unfortunately, because of sponsorship reasons, I had to change the color of my helmet the past 2 years. Now I have it back again, and I'm really happy.
With 2 second-place finishes in his kart career, victory doesn't seem to be that far off.
Came close a lot of times, and it definitely didn't happen. And I think just continue fighting, fight for it, and work hard, and definitely like it will come.
And the quest for victory is what keeps Christian going.
I think that I'm sure, like the day I lose my motivation, I'm gonna stop racing the same day.
In this week's Chris's Kids Corner, I wanted to take a more serious approach. I wanted to show you that there are more important things than motor racing. And Shelley, we were fortunate enough to experience a very special moment.
Yes, it was Ina Broman's birthday, and Ina, being the special lady that she is, did not want any presents. Instead, she wanted to give some great kids a really nice gift.
Well, here's this week's Chris's Kids Corner.
The Milwaukee Mile was the host of not only some of the greatest drivers in the world, but also a group of very special youngsters.
My name's Juanita. I live in Hepzibah. Hepzibah is a place where people who have been hurt badly live.
the Cart family reaches out to many charitable organizations, and under the premise of a birthday party at the Newman Haas Hospitality Trailer, a group of at-risk children from the Hephzibah Children's Association of Oak Park, Illinois, were in for a surprise. Ina Broman organized this special trip for these children who have suffered from abuse and neglect. The look on these children's faces confirmed how special the day was. Drivers such as Michael Andretti, Christian Fittipaldi, Al Unser Jr., Andre Ribeiro, and more took time out from their day to make someone else's. And the special announcement of a trip to Disney World topped off the day's activities. Came compliments of friends.
In your wildest dreams, what would we like to do? We're going to Disney World! You guys are going!
Coming up next, the art of speed. World famous painter Bill Patterson on Inside Cart.
Is it the car? Or is it luck? The Prelude from Honda.
To receive an official cart license product brochure, please call 1-888-777-0902.
Welcome back to Inside Cart. As you know, the Champ Car Series is one of the most colorful series in all the world. And we actually have a world-famous painter that we went behind the scenes with. Here's Bill Patterson.
An architect by trade, an artist by passion, Bill Patterson works his magic with brush against canvas. He brings the speed and excitement of the Cart FedEx Championship Series to a static medium by letting his emotion reveal itself.
I have to be a fan to be able to paint what I do. You have to be a fan to appreciate what I do. As an architect, I understand basically how a piece of work like that is engineered. It's the purest form of form-following function that I've ever seen. Then you've got the human element. And those two are seemingly at odds almost continuously throughout the course of a weekend. But when that fight, that struggle turns into a dance out on the racetrack, boy, it's magic. It's amazing.
He is, perhaps, living vicariously through his art.
I think I'm a frustrated driver. I want to get into that car, you know, so I try to put myself as the painter into the car to communicate some of that power, that emotion.
Even Bill is surprised at how quickly his work comes to life.
Sometimes it is in a flash, literally. I shock myself sometimes. Other times I get into a rhythm on a piece and, you know, I'll start 10 o'clock in the morning. I haven't eaten anything. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I look at my watch. I can't believe I'm still painting.
While his style might suggest an even influence, Patterson didn't always have a style of his own.
Well, one of my problems early was I didn't seem to have a style. I just was painting. I was trying all sorts of medium, all sorts of different looks, from the highly technical to the completely loose and way out there. And it's slowly but surely coming around to what I'm doing now, the cover St. Louis and other pieces that have that, they feel right. And I have no other way to tell you how I got there other than I just kind of stumbled across it.
And his work was prominently displayed as the covers of the programs for the Motorola 300 and Long Beach Grand Prix.
Well, those two pieces were commissioned by Long Beach Grand Prix Association. Chris Book's office, his daughter, Michelle Reynoso. I've been working with her for many years, and they said, we want to do a cover, here's what we want. And I started working immediately from that. When we got close to getting the Long Beach piece done, I submitted the St. Louis piece as what I would hope would be the cover, and they loved it immediately.
He also developed a wine bottle that commemorated Alex Zanardi's championship season last year.
I approached Honda with a concept bottle that some friends of mine out in California, Napa Valley, Monticello Wineries, did of some of my art to show as display. I showed it to Honda, and they said, wow, this would be great for a Christmas end-of-year present.
With movement the focus of his art, where is Bill headed in the future?
Right now, with how things are happening for me, with as comfortable as I am with the brush right now, I'm really excited. I'm on a roll.
For more information on Bill and his product line, you can visit him on the web at www.billpatterson.com.
Thanks, Larry, but we're not finished with you yet, because you were able to sit down with one cool pit crew. That's this week's Honda Pit Pass.
For over 2 hours, the fastest race drivers in the world competed over 200 miles an hour on the track trying to claim victory. But it's 45 seconds or less that may make the difference right here in the pits.
6 crew members are allowed over the wall during a pit stop. Their job to change 4 tires, put 35 gallons of methanol fuel on board, and make any necessary wing adjustments. It's a well-choreographed ballet. Paul Tracy's Team Cool Green walked us through a stop, beginning with their crew chief.
My name's Tony Cartman. I do the outside front tire and signal for when to go when the pit stop's over.
And it doesn't take Tony that long to do his job.
If you're having a good day, it's in the 5-second range. Anything after that, you're a little slow, I think.
The guy on the inside front is Steve Price, who's perfected his tire-changing style over the years.
I was able to, be real fast at one time, and then when I joined this team, the owner himself and our crew chief actually slowed me down until I got smooth. And when I got smooth, I theoretically got extremely fast. So, the tire takes about 6 seconds.
His counterpart on the outside rear, Eric Haverson, echoes that sentiment, that being under control is the key to a quick pit stop.
Staying calm is kind of easy because we practice so much, it just becomes natural. So when you run out and do your job, it's almost like second nature because we do it quite a bit at the shop.
But once the job is done and you know you've done a great stop, that calmness quickly disappears.
Oh, you get really pumped up. Your blood flows real fast and you're pretty wound up. It's a good feeling.
On the inside rear, Chuck Miller pulls double duty. His first manhandling a tire off and on the car.
We're trying to do it under 10, and we usually can accomplish that. And the only other thing we have is in case he has an air jack failure, I have to be the first one to spot it, take the quick lift, raise up the car, and then continue with my tire. And the outside rear guy lets it down, of course. So.
The tires on the back are bigger than those in the front, which of course means they weigh more, which doesn't always make things easy.
Like the rain tires, I think I almost blow a small intestine putting it on.
None of the 4 tire changers could do their job without vent and jack man Jim Atkinson. He has 2 hoses to connect, one to the onboard jacks to raise the car up in the air, the other to allow the fuel to enter the car quicker.
Coordination's a big factor, I guess, but once again, I concentrate on that air jack and then I go for the fuel vent. And if it's a long fuel stop, then I'm okay, but if they both finish together, then I'm in a crunch.
To perfect that technique, Team Cool Green works constantly on improvement.
Back at the shop, we usually practice once a day, and at the race weekend, we try to practice Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday morning.
No pit stop is a success unless fuel is put on board. That job belongs to Robbie Fast.
I'm the fueler, so I have the big hose, which is about the 3-inch hose, which has the fuel buckeye at the end of it, and that's my job, is just to make sure that the nozzle gets into the car as quickly as possible and as smooth as possible.
And there isn't a big margin of error for connecting the fuel hose to the car.
Yeah, it's a correct angle to it, and you have to be quite precise to get it in the same hole every time.
Pit stop complete. Elapsed time, less than 15 seconds.
Stick around, race fans. We're going down under with Bobby Rahal for the Rahal Chronicles.
Hi, I'm Jill Dobson, Detroit's Miss Grand Prix, and you're watching Inside Car on Fox Sports Net.
there were shortcuts only you knew about? There are. At Shell, where it's easy to pay, pump, and go. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
Bobby Rahal talks about his visit to Australia in this week's Rahal Chronicles. Bobby Rahal's last ride, brought to you by Shell.
Australia equals long plane ride. It keeps coming back to wonderful people. I think the Australian people are just absolutely the best. They really embrace the event down there. They're very friendly. I mean, you really feel that they look at this as something that's important to them as well as to you. I think irrespective of the plane ride, and I think even everybody, you get used to that, but it couldn't be in a more beautiful place, and a more beautiful scenery, with nicer people, and I really enjoy going to Australia. It's a track that in the past, it's, how hard can you hit the curbs? That has a lot to do with your qualifying time, and I probably don't do it hard enough, but we've been in the first two rows on a couple of occasions, and it's a track that I want to win at because we have been close before, so hopefully this year.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of Inside Kart from the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. Make sure you join us next week from Belle Isle as we'll show you Budweiser driver Richie Hearn and a unique sit-down with the safety team. Thanks for watching Inside Kart on Fox Sports Net.
Inside Kart has been brought to you by American Honda, proud sponsor of the 1998 FedEx Championship Series. By Microsoft, powered by Microsoft Windows CE. And by Shell, moving at the speed of light.
Each week, Bill Adams brings us some exciting tech. That ain't even exciting. They're pretty boring if you want to know.
Yeah, I didn't say that right, did I?
We had a little Star Wars of our own. You had a little R2-D2.
Little R2. And where are we?